Hi everybody. Before we get into this video, I just have a quick disclaimer. For whatever reason, I decided to call this game Ghost Company and refer to them as ghosts the entire time. I have no idea why. I am very sorry about this. I know the game is called Rogue Company, and my brain is just there's a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. My brain's just mush, so I apologize for the misspeaking on the title, but it is actually called Rogue Company. And yes, I do know what it's called. Thank you very much. Enjoy the first impressions video. Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and I am very excited to bring to you another first impressions video. In the craziness of my life right now, I wasn't expecting to do anything more than our standard amount of videos, but lo and behold, I got into the Ghost Company closed beta thanks to something that I signed up for a long time ago. So, I got to play it. I have played about 3 hours of it, and I want to tell you guys what I think about it. So, what they're letting you play in the overall beta is you can either play a strikeout mode or a demolition mode. I have not tried the demolition mode as it's much more team-based, and you have to be very cohesive. I have only played the strikeout mode. The strikeout mode is it's an interesting hybrid game type in which you're trying to take an objective or take out the enemy a number of times until they run out of tickets to get back into the match. So there's two ways to win. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. What's Ghost Company? Ghost Company is a third-person shooter from Hi-Rez Studios. They made Paladins, they made Realm Royale, stuff like that, in which it's kind of like a hero-based shooter. There are heroes, they're called rogues in this game, much in the way that Apex has them or Overwatch has them. You start with 5 unlocked, and then you can unlock the other ones by doing in-game stuff. Just a heads up, you got to do a lot of in-game stuff. Like, each of the characters costs about 10,000 reputation, and after 2 hours of play, I think I had like 200. So there's a lot of work on that aspect. A lot of grind, I guess, to get more characters. In any case, the game itself then plays out in those two modes. Again, what I got to play was Strikeout. It happens in the course of 3 rounds as well. So each team has, I think, 12 tickets, and it's a 4v4 match. So they can only respawn 12 times. Once you've lost those tickets, you can't respawn anymore, and your next death is your final death. In addition to that, somewhere on the map, this kind of like domination-style objective spawns, and whoever holds it, takes it and holds it. If they hold it long enough, they can win with an objective victory, which is kind of cool. It forces the game to kind of like drive the forces to the same place. It also takes out a lot of like really irritating like random flanking, like people just running around the map in random directions. It makes it a little bit more strategic in the way you're predicting where your opponents are coming from. But you wingsuit in, kind of in a battle royale fashion. But before you do that, you actually start on the plane that you're going to get put into, and you have an overall loadout for the character. Being they have one of 2 different gun choices, some different gadgets, and then like I want to say like 6 perks. All of these cost money. When you first load in, you have 12,000 to spend. Then each subsequent round until the best of 5 is done, you get money based on how well you did in the previous round. That's really interesting to me. I like that because it's not just, you don't just start with everything they have. You have to actually kind of like, not only does the character have a loadout, but you can then build that loadout in the way that you would prefer to play. It's also weirdly fresh and refreshing to have a third-person shooter in this fashion, and not a first-person shooter. Most games like this seem to fall into the first-person shooter genre. So it's nice to see a third-person shooter. And personally, I prefer third-person shooters just because I have peripheral vision, and that for me is very important. And that's really it for what this beta is offering. Like I said, I did not get a chance to play Demolition. I didn't want to weigh a team down because it didn't have any mics on, so I kind of stayed away from that kind of very competitive sort of matchup styling. So other than those two offers, there's not really a lot offered here in this beta, but I mean, it's a beta. That's the way it's supposed to be. So we're going to go ahead and move to points of excitement and concerns. And I do have some concerns, unfortunately. Well, my first point of excitement is got to be one that's just a little bit personal. I got to mention it. I usually have a hard learning curve into competitive shooters, and I gotta be honest, I was doing really good in this game right off the bat. I don't know if it's all the experience I had with Realm Royale back in the day or what, but that definitely made me feel feel a little love to this game, that I could go in there and actually rack up some kills for a change. It also could be that the time to kill is pretty quick in this game. Pretty quick. You need it like a few hits and you drop the opponent. My next point of excitement is the third-person manner of this game. I really enjoy it. It makes you very mobile. You can see your periffs. You also have a dodge button that I regularly use to get out of sticky gunfight situations. Plus, there's a real strong peek around the corners game in this because of it. That brings me back to the Realm Royale days that I enjoyed quite a bit. Just to know, you're probably hearing my kid's Elmo doll in the background. As you guys all know, house dad doing these while I raise my kid. So just bear with me. To continue on Road Company, every character has their own special, which has some weird special effect, and none of them seemed overpowered or unbalanced. I preferred to play Dima, who has this like cluster grenade launcher type thing, and I thought that was just going to be totally broken, but it wasn't. I could definitely get a few kills if I get a good shot in, but I can't always get a good shot in, rarely do I. So yeah, it's useful. They're all useful, but none of them are like, that's going to break the game, that's going to make you the most powerful character. So I guess I just want to point out how I'm surprised at how well the characters are balanced so far. Not saying that there isn't one or two that are going to be unbalanced, but in my playtime, I didn't find anybody where I was saying, okay, that guy has a broken ability. Alright, with that done, let's move to the points of concern on this one. First and foremost, it has to be said, they need to buff and deal with their server and connectivity stuff. I had the hardest time getting into matches. I had the hardest time staying in matches. Well, not staying in matches. I mean, once I was in a match, I was doing pretty good, but I had the hardest time getting into the matches, getting into the queues, getting in and out of, like, there was a point where there would be points where I'd press the button to join the queue and it just wouldn't even start. There was points where I would press the button to join the queue and it would count to 18, then just kick me out and just stop looking for a game. There was one time where it was just searching for a match, and then it said, out of nowhere, it said, you have joined a match queue. Then it said, you have left a match queue. Then it said, you are already in a match queue. It said all of that within 30 seconds, and I never touched the button. So, like, they've definitely got some issues going on here. You'll wait commonly, like almost a minute to get into a game that has a lot of foot traffic right now. Then and when you do get into a game, you get this joining match screen wipe that kind of like wipes over your screen, and then there's like a moving icon that says joining match. That's another minute at least. So there's big wait times and big issues here. I feel like they need to optimize that a little bit better. And that has to be my biggest point of concern. The game itself is a lot of fun, but I've got to say I stopped playing it probably earlier than I would have, just because I was sick of trying to like find a match and get in a match and deal with all these weird bugs. There was a couple of times where I actually had to quit the demo and go back in because it would just get locked in this weird loop of I would hit the button to find a match, and then it would count down from 18, and then just pretend like I had never hit the button.
We're out of reinforcements.
My other point of concern is where you spawn after you die. So this is kind of a weird one, and I only really noticed it because in one of the matches, my entire team dropped out and left me alone with 3 people. But as your opponent's team starts to fight you back, right, maybe away from the objective, basically your spawn points become more and more limited. You don't spawn... So, like, the game probably has, like, 10 places to spawn. But as the opponents move towards your side, those spawn points, they're not going to spawn you right next to them. Well, eventually they start doing it. They'll have just 2, and it'll spawn you in one of the 2 different places. And these players had figured out where I was going to spawn, so I would literally just spawn, get shot, spawn, get shot, spawn, get shot. That could be a problem later on. You never want to make your players feel trapped, and I think a good team who beats back a bad team is going to get a huge advantage on them if they get them back past the objective. My final point of concern is the melee weapons. So they put a huge emphasis on melee weapons in the tutorial that you can play, which was interesting to me. I was like, okay, is this going to be a big part of this game? And then I found out it was not. You didn't have to start with a melee weapon. You start with guns that you buy, unless you choose to buy a melee weapon right off the bat, but no one does, not in my experience. And while the melee weapon seems to be decently powered, a good throw will down you. I don't know why anyone would pick to purchase it, and they're relatively expensive. They're like 4,000. So I don't understand. They have such an emphasis on melee weapons. I don't think anybody's going to use them. I only ever bought the melee weapon once just to see if it would be worthwhile, and then I never used it in the match that I bought it in. So I just don't buy them. They're just not worth it, and I just don't see a reason for them to be in the game. With that being said, I feel like the matches, I mean, there could be some other players out there that disagree with me that are really good with melee weapons. Like I said, I did get hit with a thrown katana once or twice, and those just immediately down you. So there is that. Alright, so I'm going to wrap up this first impressions video. I really enjoyed this game. I do. I'm very excited to play more. I do think they need to work on their server stuff a little bit better because, seriously, there's something going on there. But other than that, I really had fun. I'm looking forward to its full release. I'm looking forward to getting in and really tearing some stuff up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you guys get excited for the game or help you stay away from the game, whatever. But you can check us out on Facebook at OldManGamingTH, Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can check us out in our Discord. The link will be in the description below. And as long as you guys keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them.
Lethal out. Get up.
Down.
Should have aimed for my head. We're out of lives. Make it count.